'Cause Saman and Rico, with a bit of chat, B-team highlights and preview Blackburn. Welcome to the warm-up. Your matchday build-up starts right here. Don't worry, Prutz and Caroline Barker, we've got this one covered. Joining me, as always, the ambassador, Marcus Gale, and he's the Kevin Kyle to our Cy Ferry and Slaney. It is, of course, Brentford women's gaffer, Karleigh Osborne. Lads, how are you both?
All good, Stu. How are you?
I'm good. It's match day. It's nice when we do it on a match day, isn't it?
It's very good. It's different, but yeah, looking forward to it.
Now, you lads were meant to be somewhere today, but you got let down last minute. Tell us about it. What was going on?
We've got a few things in the pipeline, Stu. All shall be revealed in time.
Look, all weekend and all week I've been reading the families falling apart, family in turmoil in the headlines. I didn't realise it was us. I thought it was some family that's run by a woman called Liz. It's us. Is this all because of Paulie and Paul? All that stuff and Pooley?
Never at all. This family's in perfect shape.
You're not going, are you?
Not
Ain't
at
going
all.
nowhere.
Well, look, this is our show today, so let's crack on with it, shall we? And what a show we've got in store. Iz is back. If you don't remember the first time, well, you're in for an absolute treat. Rico Henry kicks it off again and tells us who the hardest opponent he has to face in training is and how his dad changed football allegiances just because a young Rico was turned away by a club at a young age. I mean, what club are turning away Rico Henry? We will, of course, also be talking Blackburn, the game that follows at us tonight, plus Saman. Ooh. Sorry, the singing is back. I said I'd get rid of the singing, but it is back. I spoke to Saman Ghoddos on Monday. Proper, honest interview that was. He talks about his early season form and maybe how it wasn't the level he wanted and how much he just loves celebrating goals. It doesn't matter whose they are. He just loves celebrating goals. Karleigh, that's what we've got to offer. What do we need from the guys at home?
Like and subscribe, people. Hit that bell. Let's go.
Let's get going then. No football last week, of course, with that Rotherham postponement, but there was a couple of B-team games, including that game against Forest Green on Wednesday. And here are the highlights from the 3-1 win. Lads, we don't probably speak enough about that talented group. On Wednesday, the front three all scoring: Lachlan Brook, Aaron Presley and Gustav Morgensen. As a manager, Karleigh, that's got to be the dream, isn't it? Your front three all bagging.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want. You want to see your front three getting goals, performing well. So, they'll be really pleased with that.
And obviously last year we had the BMW. These three are doing it for the B team. We've also got Max Haygarth to throw into the mix as well. He's obviously injured at the moment. So we had the BMW. I'm calling these three the BPM. You heard that here first. It's not going to catch on, but you heard it here first. Let's talk about Lachlan Brook in particular. We talk a lot about players coming over to English football and kind of the adaptation period. A lot of the time, these players are coming from Europe. This is a man that's come over at 19, 20 years of age from Australia, other side of the world, a long way away from his family. He's done remarkably well, hasn't he, Marcus? And how hard would that have been, that transition?
Yeah, it's just not what you see on the pitch. It's off the pitch as well is important. The environment that he has. Is he happy off the pitch? Is he settled? If those boxes are ticked with a yes, then it's going to transpire into the performances in training and in matches. So what this is showing is that, Brentford are doing the right things on and off the field for the B team players, because it's not an easy thing to move halfway around the world or the full circle around the world. Come and play here, especially with the weather we've got and that he's left behind. So fair play to him, but also fair play to the staff around him and his teammates for making him feel welcome and settled into it.
That first goal doing the world of good. Did you know he's amazing at guitar as well? He's proper good. Should we get him to play end of season show?
I think we should.
Yeah, I agree. You can sing, Stu.
Me?
Yeah.
Saman! No, I'm not doing that anymore.
You've got the rock star haircut anyway, so you'll be fine.
Talking of musicians, the big man Elvis, he got on the score sheet. We love Aaron Presley, don't we, Gaffer?
Yeah, no, we do. He's a really talented forward, and he's got some fantastic forwards to learn from. So I look forward to seeing his journey.
And Ambassador, you're very well. You're not very close. You've spoken to Aaron a few times, haven't you? And I know he's someone that you've taken a real interest in, isn't he? Yeah,
just like that. He's humble. He's hardworking. He wants to learn. He's studying the game when he gets on the match day bench with the senior side. So I'm impressed with that, and it's important that players, they develop at their own rate as well. There is that sort of added pressure, especially as a goal scorer as well, because you've got a mean machine in front of him in Ivan Toney, and then you got Marcus Force as well that goes in and gets his fair share of goals as well. So he's got his hands full, but he's got great sort of examples to follow.
I was going to say, he's unlucky almost in a way that he's got Ivan and Marcus in front of him, but he scored 12 and 18 for the B team this season. And on Wednesday, we also saw him wearing the armband and skippering the side. I love seeing a centre forward wearing the armband. We've seen Ivan do it for the first team. He doesn't come across as the loudest, but I've seen him around the place, and he loves a laugh and a joke with the lads. But do you think he'll lead in different ways on the pitch, Karleigh? Because you don't always need to be the most vocal, do you?
Yeah, you don't need to be the most vocal all the time to be a good leader in a team and be a good captain. I think he's going to lead by example. He works his socks off. You can see the little glimpses we've seen of him in the first team. He's not scared of telling people if they need to be told, but he's there to support people as well. And I really feel like he's going to be a leader moving forward, and I think it's good to see that.
Exciting! Honestly, it's a great group, and Neil, Sam, and all the staff there, Yanni, they're doing a fantastic job with this group, and they play again tomorrow against Ebbsfleet from Bisham Abbey. That kickoff is 1 p.m. So keep an eye on all our social channels for updates, lads. What feature would you say you miss the most? Go on, Ambassador.
Is,
oh my word, funny you should say that. What a coincidence, because is back with a left back, Rico Henry. Here it is. Rico, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks, Stu. All well.
How's the injury going?
Yeah, it's going well, just in the gym and stuff, just doing like running mechanics and like gym strength, and it's going well.
Mate, well look, we'll have a little bit of fun today. This is of course and here's the first one. I've guessed who you're going to say for this one. So you go and I'll tell you if I'm right.
I'll say Marcelo and Ashley Cole.
Really? I was wrong.
Yeah.
I went Roberto Carlos.
Nah.
How come them two?
I was always watching them too, you know, Marcelo when he was at Real Madrid with his like skills and stuff. Ashley Cole defensively, you know, I think they're my best left backs I've ever seen, like watched live.
You see Marcelo, you talked about, and then like his skills were like outrageous, like always on showboat.
Yeah.
Do you think as a left back though, like, is that not a bit risky? Like if you were doing that, what would Thomas say?
Oh man, I think we go mad. It depends where you do it. To be fair, like you can't do it on the edge of your own box. You know, you don't want to be showboating. You know, if you're losing or drawing or whatever. But you know, Marcelo's confidence is crazy. Yeah, it's just his confidence. What I like. Yeah, Thomas will go mad.
See now, Saeed's gone. Who's the most skillful?
Tariq's up there. You know, like in training, like he's got a few chops. Like I've seen him do some crazy stuff in training. Do you know what? Yeah, because I play on the left back, and I'm always up against a right back, innit? And it's solid, man. It's Henrik. Like in training, I don't want to be up against him. You know, like he could run through you. You know, when he's dribbling, you just don't want to tackle him or anything, because you might hurt yourself. So yeah, Henrik, man. You know what? People don't know this, but Aston Villa, because my dad supported them.
Really?
But yeah. Basically, I went on trial at Villa. I got released. Well, I didn't get signed, and my dad stopped supporting them. So a bit like kind of forced to watch Birmingham.
I love that he just went, nah, to get back, because you got rid of my boy, I'm going to support your rival,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You've played against both of them. Does it feel weird when you play them, or is that one of those things that as a player now you kind of detach from the supporting thing?
Nah, it's kind of detached now, you know. When you're playing, it's different, because obviously Brentford's my team, and obviously you got to help them, and you don't want to think about like other clubs. But really, now I don't support anyone. I say going to a restaurant with my friends. Yeah, I ain't been out in ages actually. Just for a little catch up and that with my friends and enjoy the music and stuff. I say Brian, you know, because he's mad immature. Like, I don't know, he's just crazy immature. It's just funny. Like, he looks old, but it's just young, man. Like, so if I had like a bad trim or something, he will follow me walking around saying, "Oh, you've got a bean head." But I'm like, it's crazy, man. He's just immature.
You say he looks old. He's like, how old is he? 20?
21, but he looks old. But he's young. It's funny, man. You know what? I get along with everyone, you know. I say, because I've known him long, Josh, and like he's my roommate. Yeah, when like we could room together and that. If I wanted to ask a question, if I wanted to know anything, I'll ask Josh.
Is he like what? Is he pretty wise in that then?
Yeah, he is. You know. So if I wanted to know like what day we got off in like 2 weeks or something, he will know straight away. So yeah, he's switched on.
That's you should know that as well, though, shouldn't you?
Nah, like sometimes you don't know in it, but yeah, if I wanted to ask something, I'll ask him. Pontus has got to be in it. Pontus.
Who would win in
This
a
guy's
boxing match? Pontus, Henrik, or Vitali?
Pontus. He's crazy, man. He is mad.
Have you
Yeah,
ever got on the wrong side of him?
crazy. Yeah, in training a couple of times. It will start. Oh man, you don't want to get the wrong side of him. Like it'll come for you in training. One time I tackled him hard, didn't it? And next time I got the ball, he was there on me and he slide tackled me and that, and like he nearly injured me. It's crazy. I said my first goal for Brentford against Stoke at home. Just the feeling, like right foot, 20 yards. Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean this in the nicest way. Because you don't score as many, do you think you get a better feeling?
Yeah, it was. That's why it was. Yeah, because my first goal, I'm like, I needed a goal. When I scored, it was like, wow, this is mad. I hate to say it, Henrik.
You're getting yourself in some trouble when you get that.
Yeah. No, I hope you don't watch this. Henrik, man. Oh, I don't know. I think it's the grown swag. Like sometimes he walks into the change room, I'm thinking, what is this? But I wouldn't say it to him because he'll probably come for me training or something.
Well, he's going to probably hear it now, mate. So.
Yeah, I know. I just stay away from him. Unusual. Like we're kind of used to it now, but like you don't get the buzz coming out of the tunnel, even in games. Like when say if we're losing or something, the fans will like cheer us on, like get us going again. You don't really get that now, and then it's a miss, it's a loss, I think. Yeah, hope to see them back soon.
Do you think it'll take some getting used to the other way around when they come back again?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because when we had them for like 2 weeks, I think, or something, 2 games. Like coming back out, it was crazy. Like I smiled straight away. Like it was mad. Like when we come out, we gotta get used to it again.
Amazing, mate. And also, it'll be the first time we've had the full house in the new stadium, so even more special.
Yeah, for sure.
Rico, absolute legend, mate. Cheers for that. Lads, I absolutely love that from Rico's dad. That's next level loyalty to your son, that you just biff off the club you've supported all your life and support their rivals just because they didn't take your boy on. I love that. Also, Henrik having the worst gear and him not wanting him to know. Look, I don't know how many of the lads watch this, but he's probably going to hear that. And Rico's had it in training when he's already said he's the hardest. Who are the toughest you two come up against in training? I'll start with you, Marcus.
I would say Terry Evans and then Martin Granger.
Oh, nah, I wouldn't have fancied that. Would they go in as hard as like on training as they would on a match day?
Oh, yeah. And that's what you kind of respected as well, is that they've done it in training and they would definitely do it in the match. So there was no arguments with them anyway. I think the problems are is when players don't back up what they sort of preach through training. So, but with those two, they definitely put their foot in.
Karleigh?
At Brentford, probably Carl Court was one.
What? You seem like so nice.
Yeah, but he was just so tall. Like every time I had to go for an aerial battle, it was just hard work. Right. Dion Burton as well was another when I was younger, because Gailey will know, but his hold-up play was a joke. Like he knew how to work people, and I was only 16. Like him and Gailey used to do it to me all the time. So yeah, those two. But away from Brentford, I'd probably say J. Emmanuel Thomas, who used to be at Arsenal.
Yeah, he's at Livingston.
Yeah, he was. He's one of the cleverest players I've ever played against. Honestly, like he's a joke.
Did that well against Showboat, I remember, for Arsenal.
Yeah, he's a joke. He really is.
Reminded me of a young Wakeford. Anyway, match day today, so let's get on with it. We haven't had a game for a while after that Rotherham postponement. Do you think that will end up being a hindrance, or do you think it's kind of helped us having that little break? Because I'm not saying we look leggy, but I think every club's needed a little break, haven't they? What do you reckon, Karleigh?
Yeah, I think it will do us good to miss a little bit of football. I think the players would have got some rest. Maybe a little bit of downtime just to kind of settle their minds, refresh their minds, refocus. So I think the game not being played might have been a bit of a benefit, hopefully. And
it also meant that those 2 games in hand that Swansea had, they've now caught back up with us. And when we look at the league table here, I mean, actually, we're only 3 points behind them now, level on points, and both of us have got a game in hand of Watford. Marcus, it's actually turned out, despite the little run we've had, it's not turned out too bad for us, has it?
It's not turned out too bad. It could have been a bit worse as well, but that postponement last week has probably given us, as Karleigh said, time to recuperate. It's probably given us an extra day to train as well, work on a few things, because the games have been thick and fast. But the league table is still very tight in those top 4 spaces. So I just feel we need to get onto a little run, like we did in the restart of last season, gone on 7 or 8 game winning streak. And I think that will put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Well, opportunity to kick-start that tonight against Blackburn. If we were sat here last week and had this discussion, it'd probably be a bit different. They were having a torrid run. I think 6 defeats out of 7. Then they beat Millwall and drew against Swansea. And I think they're probably a bit unlucky to draw against Swansea by all reports midweek. they're a strange one, aren't they? Because when you look at that squad, quietly, they've put together a really talented young group of players that kind of got when unnoticed to me. I didn't really realise it, but they've got a great squad, haven't they, Marcus?
Yeah, they've got good players in there. You've got Armstrong, obviously on 19 goals. I think he's only second to Ivan Toney, but a tremendous striker at this level. Young Harvey Elliott's come into it on loan from Liverpool. He's got something like 9 assists. So they've got a potent front line as well. So they're kind of like a mixed bag of a team. You expect them to do a lot better with the squad they got, but sometimes they probably let themselves down with certain games where they don't pick up those points. But you know, they've had 2 games during this week for us to go and play them now. So hopefully there's a little bit of fatigue in their legs as we go into this game.
That's it. Yeah, it's really. I kind of think they should be doing better than they are, maybe. But how big's the return of Bradley Dack been for them, Karleigh? And how do you play against someone like that makes those intelligent runs from deep? And we've seen it all too often, even against us. He scored in the home fixture a couple of years ago. How do you defend against him?
Yeah, I mean, Bradley Dack will be a big boost for them. He's a clever player. I think the key thing there is communication. You know, those late runs are going to cause problems. He's either going to draw a midfielder deeper or out of position, or again, draw a defender out of position. So communication is going to be the biggest key, and kind of just making sure that you're aware of him as much as you can be, as well as obviously knowing exactly where the ball is or where the play is. But I mean, listen, Brentford should be more than capable of dealing with those things, and I think they will. But, you know, Bradley Dack will be a threat, and Brentford just need to make sure they're on their game.
There's a weird little conundrum I've seen that Mowbray's kind of mentioned that it's been discussed, is that when him and Armstrong have started, it's not really clicked, which has been an unusual thing. Like, you think, for me, I'm going, oh, well, you got your best players. You put all your best players on the pitch. They've all got to be on the pitch. But something's not working for either of them when they are on the pitch. I don't know. Hopefully I ain't jinxed that now. But how does that work? Because surely you want your best performers on the pitch, Marcus. And or does he have to try and accommodate both, or do you have to sacrifice one? How does it work, Marcus?
I think you find a way of playing both of them. They're both potent players for the team, and you just find a way. Sometimes the problem is they might want to take up some of the same spaces at the same time, and that's probably where the clash comes. But I'm sure with the array of talent they've got in their squad, they can accommodate both of them in there. And have that probably a bit more individual discipline as well, to make the whole team cohesion work a lot better than it has done. So I agree with you, is that, you know, they probably should be doing a lot better than what they are, but we're happy where they are right now, and hopefully that continues tonight.
In the way they played a very technical midfield three of Tribal, Dack, and John Buckley, the young lad Buckley, who looks like a hell of a player, to be fair, at 21. Do you think them playing 3 very technical centre midfielders will suit us, Karleigh?
Yeah, I think it can. I think it will pose a really kind of good battle in the middle, because obviously Brentford have very technical players. Brentford are very technical, so it will be a good battle to see who kind of comes on top of that. But I think Brentford also probably have the edge in terms of physicality as well and athleticism. So I see Brentford winning that battle, but Blackburn will cause problem.
Could this then maybe, it depends if he's fit, of course, but he played against St Albans the other day, Christian Norgard. Could this potentially be a game to see that Vitali Christian midfield start, Marcus?
Yeah, I would say so, especially away from home. Tough opponents. You want to keep that midfield nice and solid and deny the opposition any sort of space in that area. So that's going to be the key battleground for me. It's just who plays in there. Is it going to be Matthias Jensen to accommodate Vitali and Christian in that midfield?
We've seen people talk about this and said, oh, Vitali was the understudy for Christian. Now we've seen, well, actually, maybe they could play together. How do you think we do that? Because Norwich play with their double pivot, McLean and Skip, that we've seen very well, but we don't do that. We play with the kind of a 6 and then the 8s in front. So do you think we go to a double pivot, or would you like to maybe see Vitali or Christian move on further forward a little bit, Karleigh?
Me personally, I would probably go with a double pivot, give one a little bit more license to kind of break forward more and find those spaces in between. But I think whichever way they do it, I would probably personally keep Norgard a little bit deeper and play him in the 6. I think just even down to his experience and things like that, and him easing himself back into the game, I think putting him in the 8 where he could end up being box to box when you've just come back from injury can sometimes be hard as well.
Ambassador, you go along with that?
Yeah, very much so. We know Vitali can bomb up and down as well. So maybe this might be the best sort of phase for Vitali in that position where he's free. He's more free to express himself by getting forward. We know he can grab the odd goal or two. So hopefully if he's in that starting lineup, I'm sure he will be, that we'll see more of that.
To be fair, you might actually get more from Vitali now as well going forward because he has that safety net of Norgard behind him. So you might actually see even more of what Vitali has to offer because he will have that little bit more freedom to go and do that.
Do you think that midfield is that where you think the battle will be won, or in the past we've spoken about out wide, or even could it be Ivan's battle against potentially 2 quite young centre halves? It depends if Lenihan plays or who we see at the back for them.
Well, we're going to cause them problems, no doubt. They know that we're a very possession-based team, like to move the ball, keep the ball, and drag people out of possession. So that's our strength, and that's what we need to, continue, but to also improve on that as well. We've done reasonably well this season with it. We've come off boil at times. That's going to be part and parcel of the season. But as I said earlier, if we can try and get onto that last second run like we did at the end of last season, I think that will really put us in a good position and to apply that pressure. But it's going to be a tough game tomorrow.
It's exciting, isn't it? But remember, games tonight because we're pretending that we didn't film this yesterday. Anyway, move over, Oprah, because this is the interview we've been waiting for this week. Passion, honesty, humour, exclusives. It is, of course, the nicest man in football, Saman Ghoddos. What a chat I had with him on Monday. Here it is.
You did this last time. So, man, 6 months ago, we were sat here.
Yeah.
It was your first day at Brentford. Half a year later, how would you look back on this first half a year?
A lot of ups and downs, of course. A lot been my fault. What I'm doing on the pitch, I haven't been good enough. I haven't been adapting good enough. But I have to just look forward, and I'm happy where I'm right now and with my body and what I'm trying to do for the team. So that's the positive thing. So now from here, this is the standard I need to have and just keep on going forward and trying to be as good as possible. But these 6 months, a lot of good friends now. I had them really close to my heart, the team. So I'm really happy to be here.
That's quite an honest thing for you to say. I wasn't expecting you to be so open and honest.
Yeah.
What are you talking about in particular? Like when you're saying adapting and stuff, what did you find hard?
All the intense games, like you can't really enjoy the games, winning or losing. You can't think about what's happening and what's good, what's bad, because 1-2 days later, it's a game again. And what I haven't been adapting good enough, so I'm used to the 1 game a week.
Yeah.
And then it's hard trainings, then you slow it down, and then it's the game. Then when you need to be fresh. Here is you need to be fresh all the time because of the games. You have games every 3rd week, 3rd, 4th week. So when I had 1 game a week before, I could control what I should eat because I control how hard I can train.
Right.
Now it's more like I need to control the training because it's not hard, because it can't be hard, because we need to be fresh for the games. But I couldn't control how much I was eating because I was eating normal, like I've been training hard. So I was eating more calories than I was burning.
So did you feel heavier then because of that?
I got heavier,
right,
without knowing it until it was late. So I was gaining, 2-3 kilos.
Right.
And when I noticed it, then I was like, I didn't notice it directly. It took me a couple of weeks to understand it. And then I just lost the kilos now, and now I'm good with my body. I've lost a couple of months.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with my body. And for me, it feels like I've been performing now on the pitch too. And that's the good thing.
Well, you definitely have been, mate. But I want to get into a bit that you mentioned already. You seem to have settled well into the group, and
Yeah.
you're very popular. But that's because I was saying this to you just before. I think you're the nicest man in football. Honestly, I do mean this. But on the pitch, you're not the nicest man in football, are you?
But I'm not trying to be.
Is that because you're just a winner?
Yeah, I want to win. If I should get into somebody's head to get some advantage, I will do it 100%. But I will always try to be nice outside the pitch to whoever it is. But on the pitch, then it's
You cross that line.
You cross that line. It's different rules. So even in the training, so then you're against me if you're in the other team. So I will try to do anything to win.
And a lot of people say that the English game is really physical. And obviously, you've been pretty physical on the pitch because you're a player that is lovely to watch, very technical, but you've not been afraid to put yourself about, as I said. Have you found it more physical than the French leagues and the Swedish?
Yeah, it is more physical than the French league and Swedish, yeah, much more. But if I compare with the French league, so yeah, it is a lot more physical, and that's where I need to adapt. And because sometimes the pitch doesn't allow you to do the technical and play so it's nice for the eye. Yeah. Sometimes you need to adapt, and if they fight, then you have to fight with them. So that's one thing I think since the start I knew it, and I have been fighting. But it is really physical. It is. Yeah.
And when we spoke here again earlier in the season, you said number 10 was kind of your favourite position. Lately, you found yourself in the 8.
Yeah.
But you're playing probably your best football since you've been here. So how have you found that switch?
Yeah, so it's a new position, but the coach has really put some trust in me, and I want to just give it back to him. So I'm really listening, and it's kind of the same like 10, but much more defensive work and need to be in the right positions. This new position, I'm still trying to learn and trying to get better at it, but for me, I enjoy it, and I enjoy playing it.
Is there anyone that you look at, like in football, to kind of compare yourself and think, oh, I could do a bit more like this? Or
it's hard to compare, but I like to watch the City players.
Yeah.
And right now, Gundogan. I don't know.
Gundogan, or
yeah.
I know who you mean.
I like to watch him play and how to see how he moves, and of course, I don't want to compare myself to him. This is another level, but I like his movements, and I try to do the same thing.
One thing that's coming, mate, is that long-range goal, innit? You've had a couple of sighters. It's on its way. Do you not think?
It's getting closer, of course, but I still haven't had enough of shots that I'm used to. But it's harder, and I need to get to the right positions. But of course, I'm trying to get there and trying to get some shots, and so I can show you too.
Well, you know what's coming next, because that'll mean you've scored a few already. But you've also been enjoying celebrating other people's goals, haven't you?
Always.
Mate, one of my favourite things, whenever we score now, I look to see where you are, because you're always doing something. Middlesbrough, you're just celebrating on your own. Do you remember that? Middlesbrough away, Vitali does a knee slide.
Yeah, but I was sliding too far. So that's in the pictures you can see
You look like you're in a different game. You're just celebrating your own goal or something.
Yeah, no, I was just so happy, and
you love it, even in training earlier.
Yeah.
Someone scored. It wasn't even you that scored, but you celebrated it. You just love it.
Yeah, you have to enjoy, and right now I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying football, and just small things can make it better, and just to celebrate a goal and just get some energy. And of course now it was my team that was scoring goal, and then you get in the face on the other team, and they were like boiling. So
but you also attack your own teammates in celebration.
Yeah.
Newcastle at home, Josh scores the goal that gets us into the Cup semi-final, and you're giving him a massive clout around the head.
I think it is. I've been thinking about it, why I'm doing it. It's just I get so happy, and I can't really control it. So, and if it is like 2-3-0, I won't do it. But if it's 1-0 and we're winning the game in this way, this kind of way, I would be so happy. I can't control myself. I need to hit someone.
It's amazing. Well, you got to watch out, because next time you score,
I will run away.
Yeah, they're all going to be coming for you. Top man. Cheers, Saman.
Thank you so much.
Oh, mate, every time. It's brilliant. Thank you so much.
I hope so.
Lads, I'll be honest, when I asked Saman that first question about how he's seen the last 6 months. I probably didn't expect him to have that much honesty. And how refreshing is it to see a player own up to not so much mistakes, but kind of be so open and admit, maybe I wasn't good enough when I first arrived here. It's great to see that honesty, isn't it, Marcus?
Yeah, that is great honesty by him. It's being transparent as well, because you want to perform to your best of your abilities as well. So, yeah, I encourage players to do that, because it can't be that sort of difficult, you know what I mean, at times to adapt into a new league, a new environment. But he's showing that he's learned as well through that period as well, with the sort of regime of training compared to the amount of games that he was used to in France. So, it's a different ball game when you come to the UK to play football.
And Karleigh, I'm not saying this to you for any particular reason.
I'm trying to say.
No, but like when you have you had it where you felt maybe a bit heavier? That's like I'm digging you, mate. I'm not saying you were like overweight as a player, but what impact would that have if it had happened to you? Because it wouldn't, because you were an athlete and you never were coming over. But like, if you come back from pre-season, for example, and you were maybe a bit, Marcus, leave it out. Oi, it could have been at you, mate, as well.
Because he's digging himself into a whole load of trouble here.
That's why I'm not saying anything. I'm just letting him dig.
What impact could it be if you didn't feel at your optimum and you maybe felt a bit heavier? Help me out here, someone, please.
Nah, I'll be honest with you. I've had it at times in my career where I've actually been overweight. And it does make a very big difference. Sometimes you don't necessarily realize it. But I've had it. I had it once at Brentford, actually, when I had a long injury layoff just before the last season I left. I came back and I was overweight then. And what I'd also done is I'd been in the gym so much that I'd put on a lot of size and I was too big. And that hindered my movement, my athleticism. Listen, I was still rapid, don't get me wrong, but I weren't moving as freely as I did before. And I remember when I realized I think I come back and played against Stevenage. And I remember, I think it was Sammy Saunders that played a ball across to me. And it was a heavy pass, but a pass that I'd normally get to. And I remember chasing it and thinking, I'm not going to get here. Like, I'm not going to catch this up. And it went off the pitch and Sammy looked at me and said, you put on some weight, mate, because you usually get to them ones. And I remember thinking, he ain't wrong. Like.
It also happened where, for me, I changed position from centre forward to centre back. And gradually through the year, I felt my body change physically, where you're not as sharp, because as a centre forward, you're always sprinting flat out to get onto things and get away from defenders. Whereas when you go to the back, you can see everything in front of you. So you kind of cruise your way in there. So my body had to adjust to that. And with that, probably put on a little bit to adjust to that position, because you needed a little bit more bulk. Just to hold those defenders up. As Karleigh would know, you're up against a strong centre forward. You need the upper body to kind of keep him up and keep him out of your sort of space. So my body adjusted to that and probably put on a little bit of weight as well.
Look, I love talking to you guys about weight loss and things like that. It is great, but I want to get back to Saman. How he spoke about how he's clearly enjoying his football now, isn't he? In that 8 role, and we're really starting to see the best of him, aren't we, Marcus?
Yeah, he's trimmed up. You can see that he's quicker in his movement. His speed of thought's always been there. I think now his body and his conditioning has caught up with his brain now, and now we're seeing the best parts of him. His intelligent runs and movement, key passes. He's getting some goals as well, which makes it even better. So I'm pleased with what I've seen with him. It's been a slow start, but you know what? He's going to have a strong finish, and that's going to help us.
Technically, Karleigh, he's so good. Like little passes around the corner, little flicks, his passing, like Marcus said just then. But as mentioned as well, he's a proper winner, isn't he? Once he crosses that white line, he's all he wants to do is win, and he'll do anything for his team to win. I love players like that. They're quite unique, aren't they? You don't get many that can do both.
Yeah, you don't always get many that can do both, especially kind of in the central area as well. But he does do both, and he's committed. Once he's over that white line, he's 100% commitment to getting the result for his team and putting a performance in for his team. So it's great to see. Like, it really is.
I was trying to think of someone. I couldn't really think of anyone. There'll be someone. Put down comments below, anyone that you think. Lovely, lovely, man. And the games are back thick and fast this week. 3 for you, starting with Blackburn tonight. Then that B-team game against Ebbsfleet tomorrow. Look out for updates on that. Followed by Derby County on Tuesday night away at Pride Park. Of course, as always, match passes for the 2 first-team games available at brentfordfc.com/ifollow. Another reminder, again, the second episode of The Sting by our very own Luke Gregory. That's out. He's not even smiling at me while I'm telling him that. Now he's got a smile. You guys can't see him. Lads, that's it for this week. Are we going to do it next week, or are you going to be too busy? What are we saying?
We
got time. We've got time.
Oh, thanks. Time. Oh, my word. You've got to come back next week. It's Cheltenham. I've got a great guest lined up. Trust me. I've not actually told you that, have I?
Nah.
The only one person I can think of, now that you mentioned Cheltenham, but
yeah,
if you can get him out, then I'll be very surprised.
Don't worry, everyone. Of course, we will be back. I'm not letting these two go anywhere. Not until I've found someone else. Idra Anderson, giving you a bell, mate. Right, that is it for this week. Have a great week, everyone. Come on, you bees. Blackburn away tonight. Stay safe. Enjoy yourselves. You Reds.